Welcome back to the Runaround. I am Greg Jubb with Aaron Lockwood here. We're talking to Chrisey Ramsey, Baltimore speedster who just came back from the Olympic trials for the marathon. Had a big year this year. But the funny thing is that she was not a runner until late in the game. Chrisey, tell us about that.
Yeah, I really didn't get into running until the end of my freshman year in college. I was 19 years old. I played soccer and lacrosse in high school. My school didn't even have a track or a cross-country team, so it really was never an option to me. But I went to Syracuse in 2001, and I was on the lacrosse team for probably 3/4 of my freshman year, and then we had a time trial to see who was in shape going into the spring season, and we had to run the mile, and I lapped the entire team in the mile. I ran 5:20 or 5:30, I don't even remember, and the next fastest girl ran 7 minutes. And at that point, as a freshman, I really wasn't going to be able to have a lot of playing time or any playing time on a good Division I lacrosse team. And at the same time, the track and cross-country team had a lot of injuries and people abroad, so they were just desperate for people that could run a 5K. So after that day, the lacrosse coach asked me what I thought about running. And I had really never thought of myself as a runner. I thought that this was this whole other caliber of endurance athletes that I didn't even come close to. So I said, like maybe I'll think about it. I'll get some training in and go out for the cross-country team next fall. And she's like, all right, well, in the meantime, let's go meet the coach. And she walked me down the hall, and I met the coaches. This was on a Friday, and on Monday, I was on the track team.
Just like that. So the coaches knew they had a gem.
Yeah.
It's not very often that a girl steps on the track and just busts out a 5:20 mile, just like that.
Yeah, no, I surprised myself. At the same time, I had never run before. I had no concept of what was a fast time, what was a slow time.
Right.
So I started running with the track team. I worked out with them for 3 weeks, and then they had an event coming up in Houston. So I went down to Rice University and I ran in the 3K as my first event. And beforehand, I went down to the field house and had picked up my uniform, and they had this really tiny pair of orange things that looked like a pair of underwear. And I was like, oh, that's really funny. That must have ended up in my bag by mistake.
Right.
Nope. And so they also had a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and a singlet, and I put that on and go and warm up for my race. And there were 2 other girls on my team also in the 3K. And prior to taking the line, they both whipped their orange shorts off, and they had these little bun hugger shorts. And I was like, oh, I guess those weren't a mistake, that's an actual uniform.
That probably surprised you at first, thinking this underwear. Like, what is this weird sport?
That was my first surprise and rookie mistake that most people make in junior high. But I was almost 20 years old, and so I took the line, and they put me in lane 3. And nobody told me in a distance race that after the race starts, you cut into lane 1 no matter what lane they put you in.
Oh, wow.
So I ran the entire race in the outside of lane 2.
Man.
And, my teammates are on the sideline screaming, cut in, and I was like, no, this is my lane, this is my lane. So
You're just possessive of that lane, too.
Yeah, but I did pretty well, and then just kept competing throughout the season.
Right, so you moved to Baltimore after you graduated from Syracuse. And 2009 was a big year for you. You really started breaking through in the road racing scene. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a huge year for me. 2008 had been a little bit disappointing. I had some injuries and whatnot, but I really came back in 2009. I got in some good training in the winter, and my first race was a 5K at Penn Relays, where I ended up running a little over a minute PR, so I knew this was going to be a good year for me.
Yeah.
And then I went on. My next big race was the Rockville 8K. Excuse me.
Just getting choked up. She loves talking about it.
I'm just getting over a cold. But yeah, that was a fun race for me because when I first moved to Baltimore in 2006, I did that race. It was a week after I moved, and I had done it every year since and moved up a little bit each year. in place, and 2009 was a great year for me because I went into it and really felt like I could be competitive and ended up winning the race, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
she runs a few marathons, and you start slowly improving. I think you started somewhere around the three-hour range, correct?
Yeah, Baltimore was my first marathon in 2006. It was right after I moved and just thought it'd be fun. I had been having a really good time running with a lot of people out of the Falls Road Running Store, and everyone there seems to do something in the running festival, so
Right.
I thought I'd make that my first marathon.
Right, and then would you ever expect, having run that marathon in Baltimore, that you'd be doing what you did this past year at the Olympic trials? Did you expect to be training at that level or coming that close to the...
I had hoped so. My coach at the time that I'm still working with had told me he thought I had a lot of potential, and we made qualifying for the trials a definite goal, and I did feel like that was attainable at some point if I kept doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've had such a big year, 2011 was a big year for you, you qualified for the Olympic trials, and now you had that experience at the elite level where you're running with the best. What do you think 2012 and beyond has in store for you?
Well, my next big race coming up is going to be the National Half Marathon Trials, the championships in Duluth in June. So right now I'm just recovering from the marathon, and then I'll train for that. Excuse me.
You're fine, but it's been a big year.
Yes.
For all those in the Mount Vernon area, if you see someone wearing Brooks gear running through town, you're looking at a professional runner, and we're proud to say she's right here from Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Chrisey Ramsey, pleasure to have you on the show. We wish you the best of luck in 2012. We'll certainly be looking for you in the National Half and things beyond that.
Thank you for having me.
And for those tuning in, if you're not familiar with Running Maryland, not only do we have all the results, pictures, videos, and all the things you could possibly ever want to see on the racing scene, whether it be track and field and road racing, we're also an event management company as well.
Yes, we are.
And we cover the races that we manage. And we have a lot of big races coming up for the spring season. Probably the biggest one we have coming up is the St. Michael's Running Festival.
Right, it's a half marathon, a 10K, and a 5K.
And the 13.1 mile course, the half marathon course, is USATF certified. So if you're looking for a Boston qualifier, if you're looking for something legit, come down to St. Michael's. It's May 19th. The event directors will be on the show at some point in the very near future. And you got to check out the town.
Oh, absolutely.
St. Michael's is a gorgeous town, one of the gems of the Eastern Shore. Aaron and I discussed this earlier today. Maybe it's not the Eastern Shore, it's past the Bay Bridge, so to me it's the Eastern Shore. Cute little town. The course runs right along the water.
Yes, it is absolutely beautiful.
And Aaron, you're a marathoner.
Yes.
How important is it to have a course that is very scenic, something that keeps you motivated, something that's nice?
I will say that I do choose my races by the scenery. I love running along the water. I ran in the Annapolis Half Marathon, and St. Michael's is probably much more beautiful than the Annapolis Half. The Annapolis Half was, but if you want to check out an incredible race with beautiful scenery, I would definitely suggest running that in the St. Michael's Festival.
Gorgeous
whether it's
town.
half marathon, 10K, 5K, because you will definitely have an incredible experience.
Bring the kids, bring the family,
Absolutely.
stay for the whole weekend. That's the point. Make a weekend out of it.
Yes.
It's certainly gorgeous, certainly worth looking into. In addition to that, just as important are the races coming up even sooner. The Dansell Family Center, the YMCA 5K on March 25th in Ellicott City.
Right.
All the pertinent information on that race is on runningmaryland.com. Please check it out. Be sure to check it out when you get a chance. The Joe Robeson 5K in Hagerstown on June 2nd. Another 5K if you're looking for something shorter. And feel free to give Running Maryland a call, 410-868-9219. We'd love to talk to you about putting on some good races. We're trying to bring running back to Maryland, bring some nice races back to Maryland.
And remember to check us out on Facebook and Twitter, because we have the Runaround as well as our Running Maryland Twitter and Facebook account. So you can always shoot us a message on there. Let us know how you like the show. Let us know how you like the company. We would love to hear back from everyone.
And as always, tune in next week, Monday at 5.